Namaste. My name is Denise Anasuya French. I am a prenatal minister of yoga and birth doula. Having a baby is truly the most transformational experience in a woman's life. Birth is instinctive, and what is instinctive doesn't need to be taught. Yet so often we struggle with the process. Birth starts in the mind. Therefore, part of birthing without fear is trusting your instincts. In Portuguese, to give birth is dar à luz, which literally translates as to give to light or to bring to light. This seems appropriate to me for many reasons. For one, I have had the honor of witnessing many births in my life in different countries and cultures, and when I held those babies, minutes after they were born, they were like glowing orbs of light. Perfect, otherworldly, and yet remarkably human. On the other hand, the birth itself is illumination, a being illumined by the divinity within. We are light giving to light.
I don't know what doula is. It's
yeah.
hard even to explain.
Yeah.
But what it is for you.
Yeah. Doula to me is just an additional person to the team. You know, it's that person that's encouraging for mommy. It's that person that's going to help mommy relax. And doulas bring such wealth of information about positioning. They bring massage therapy, pressure points. They just bring information that can only help mommy. I wish all of my patients could get a doula or have that support system. I guess the history, looking back years and years and years, it was the tribe, and like certain Africa, when women went for childbirth, they were surrounded by women that would help them through this process. The men were over there.
You go to a childbirth education class and you hope that your husband picked up some techniques, but they're not a trained person and they're emotionally involved. And sometimes being a man, that they tend to be, they're strong. And so maybe their touch is a little too strong or a little too rough. And they're also nervous because it's their wife. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. And sometimes they don't say the right things because they are trying to be funny and it's inappropriate. So a doula, is a trained professional in supporting a woman in labor.
One thing I like about a doula is that they will come to the home of a mom that's in early labor, just help them through that, and allowing them to come to the hospital when they're in active labor versus the early labor part. When they come in early labor, there tends to be, well, let's get you admitted, let's start some fluids, let's start Pitocin, let's break the water, and it just rushing things along when it may not be necessary. So I think a doula is invaluable, and women really need to investigate it and educate themselves on getting one.
Of course, it's always wonderful to have a doula there because the midwife has her role as a midwife, where she's doing your vital signs and she's making sure that the tub is the right temperature if you're having an underwater birth. She's checking the baby's heart rate. So she's not in that doula role where that she's massaging your back or your feet, or she's giving you encouragement or doing visualizations with you. So it's different.
Through prenatal yoga, I help women to prepare mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually for her labor and birthing, but also for when they are carrying their baby around. Lots of long inhales and exhales is a major focus on their prenatal practice with me. The breathing and relaxation techniques are essential practice for labor when they can slow the heart rate, clear the mind, relax the nervous system, trust their body, trust their descending baby in the final hour, where it all comes together, letting go, exhaling their baby blissful out. By helping women with that practice, along with straightening postures, I therefore can help them get confidence, especially those in their first pregnancies.
To me, it's a companion during birth, during the process of birthing. Somebody who brings the knowledge of all that she's seen in her experience, attending other mothers, and is there to care for you, and also to be there for you if things are not going the way you had discussed with her. So maybe your husband is there, maybe your partner is there, but maybe, pressure from the hospital, things are steering in the direction that, in an undesirable direction, then she might be there for you to kind of point out other things that you could do and serve in a way as a buffer between, the rigid hospital protocol and, of course, the fear that, your partner or whoever else is there with you might be experiencing, because they feel responsible for you and for everything that's going on, and it's somebody objective.
My mother, if my mother was there, and I love my mother, we get along well and I love her, but she has not ever witnessed that experience. She has never witnessed herself or anyone else going through a natural childbirth. I think that's very common in this country nowadays. Something that's a normal, the most basic animal function that we do as a woman, we haven't even witnessed. We don't even think we're capable of it.
I didn't really know what a doula was. I literally chose my wonderful doula at 38 weeks, so I wasn't planning to have a doula. He was gonna be my doula. And he was sitting behind me, and we were supposed to be practicing breathing. And I realized that I was getting annoyed that he didn't breathe as slowly as I wanted him to breathe.
When you pick your doula, you should trust her 100%. And that's the key, because in the moment of the birth, in that day, the labor might take long. You may see blood, you may see pain in your spouse, and if you do not trust the person that it's helping you, then you will collapse at one point, and you will destroy the whole plan.
Just felt very comfortable with the doula being there.
I think it allowed him to play the role of husband better than he would have been, because instead of having to constantly comfort me in certain ways, he was able to just be my husband and be that support, and with a little pressure taken off.
I was about 9 centimeters, maybe 8.5 centimeters dilated then. Anesthesia got there right after me, right when I was telling the nurse in triage, I think I need something. I'm not sure I can do it. Anesthesia came right up and grabbed me. She said, yes, you can. So it was helpful. And then she was with me the whole time. She was just holding my hand, which made me feel secure. Having her physically touching me was very helpful, because I felt like it made me feel, it wasn't that it was her strength, but her being there and being strong made me feel my strength. Whereas if she wouldn't have been there, and it would have been someone like my husband or someone else who didn't feel as strongly about it, maybe they were fearful also, I'm not sure if I could have done it the same way, because if I felt fearful, and then if the person supporting me felt fearful, then we probably would have just asked for medication, asked for something, because we were fearful.
This was almost happening to me. She was under a lot of pressure, pain, and she went to the restroom, and then we saw a little bit blood, and I got scared 100%, and I said, well, this is wrong. We're going to the hospital right now. So I thought that, and then that was the moment that I told myself that, well, okay, you know, like this is one option, to go to the hospital, and we know what's going to happen. As soon as you get into the hospital, they're going to ask for the injection of epidural, and then you're completely off of the natural birth plan. And the second option is to stick with the plan, trust the doula, and do what she says.
I made everyone have roles and responsibilities. She's the leader of those two as well, so she can guide them as to what it is that I need so that they don't have to figure it out on their own, which is a nice, I think, a pressure to take off you.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I've never done it before. Been a doula, been a father, been at a birth, and I have no idea how I'm going to react. So it's more important for you, let alone me, but more important for you to have someone who has experience, isn't rushing, knows other ways of handling pains and just anything that comes up.
Contractions, just knows what to do with me.
And just the comfort of different massages, stretches, just the constant reassurance of, you know, you're doing a great job, and just knowing that someone was present who understood everything that was going on and was there.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
No.
No, not at all.
They're not someone who's just holding your hand and massaging your foot and making you feel better. They're not there for that. They're there to remind you, first off, you're a spiritual being. Second off, your body is made for this. The doula helps you to remember. It helps you to get it's not that you don't feel any fear, because of course, a baby's coming out of you. It's a little bit of a scary process. I mean, a hole that's normally very small is opening wide, and a human is coming through it.
When we went to the hospital, this was our experience. My wife was 10 centimeters dilated right at the time that everyone in the hospital were happy. They said, oh, well, the baby is coming very soon, you know, with no need of any injection, any chemical, and that's it. And that's the outcome of having her with us. If she wasn't with us, I would have take Nina to the hospital a lot sooner. Yeah.
Anytime you're going to break through a barrier, anytime you're moving yourself to the next level on anything spiritually, when you're moving to the next level, right before you're doing it, right as you're doing it, is the most intense, challenging time. And it's really easy to waver and forget why you're even doing it, and forget that you can do it, and forget your strength. And so in labor, when you're right at that moment where it's very intense, if you have the wrong person with you and you don't have support, you may not be able to hold on to your own power as strongly, because it's a lot of intense feelings from within, intense sensations. The baby is moving where it wants. Your body is doing things you have no control over, and it feels uncomfortable, to say the least. Your mind is throwing thoughts at you. And if you have someone there who's going to throw more fear at you, well, I don't think you're going to go through with it. The emotional, even though the doula is very emotionally attached to you, at the same time, they're not. Because they aren't your mother, they aren't your husband, they don't have that sort of attachment to you. So they can be detached in a sense of, if you start crying or you start screaming, whatever you're doing, and you start saying, I can't do it, they can be strong and they can say, yes, you can. They're not attached to that like your mother would be, right? They're not attached, they're detached from that part. So they're very helpful in that sense.
As a holistic doula, I believe in the power of mind, body, and soul aligning to create a perfect union. Therefore, I will be able to help guide women on this path so that they might have peace and harmony within themselves, helping them overcome their fears and concerns, cultivating an awareness and trust on their bodies and innate wisdom, power and sensibility to give birth normally, naturally, and nurture. I am by their side, constantly reminding them about what they have forgotten, that they are indeed a perfect being illumined.
We couldn't have done it without our doula.
Yeah, definitely not. We could not have done it.
It was the best thing ever.
Natural birth can be very, very overwhelming, and having a support of an experienced person is really, really important. It's the key for couples to pass over this stage successfully. Without having enough experience, at one point you really don't know what's next, and you will be as scared as hell, and you will do something that later you may regret. But having someone with experience next to you will always help to pass through this stage.
I would not have another baby without a doula. Whether I had it in a hospital, whether I had it at home, wherever I had it, I would have a doula. Always. It was, I don't care the price, I don't care, I don't think you could really put a value on it monetarily. But I don't care what the price would be, it would be a non-negotiable choice for me.